Alright class, so we just finished decorating your balls. You guys made yours what color?
It was red.
Why was it red?
Because Mercury is a red planet.
Yeah, this group was red. So the three of you were the red planet, the Mercury one. And we did the toilet paper activity. So if the sun was over here, and this was how far it was, what does that represent?
It represents the distance from the sun.
Right, and was yours the longest or the shortest?
It was the shortest.
Yeah, you guys had the shortest piece of toilet paper, which means what?
It means that Mercury is the closest planet to the sun.
That's right. So it sounds like you guys know a lot about Mercury now. So now I want to go over the objectives for today, okay?
Okay.
Okay, so the objectives for today is we will be able to identify characteristics of the 4 rocky planets, use comparative adjectives when comparing and contrasting different planets, and we'll be able to write a letter from the perspective of someone living on a different planet. How does that sound?
That sounds like a good day to me.
Okay, and then maybe before we start our next activity, we should review the key vocabulary again. Do you remember all of them?
Maybe. I didn't practice them very much at home.
Okay, so here's our key vocabulary. All right, so what does a solar system mean?
Isn't that where there's a sun and there are planets that go around the sun?
Yeah, so our solar system is our sun, everything that goes around it, all right?
Okay.
Okay, and what's an orbit?
You may have to help me out. Isn't that like the circular path around the sun?
Yeah, it's the path we go around the sun. So for Earth, it takes 1 year to go around. But all the other planets have different amount of days.
Okay.
All right, and what does gravity mean?
That's the thing where it pulls you down to the Earth.
Yeah, it's that force that pulls you down to the planet. That's why we don't float away. Some planets don't have as big of a gravity force, and that's why you float there. All right, and what does a moon mean?
I don't remember. Isn't that like a planet-like item or body that orbits a planet?
Yeah, it's that body that orbits around the planet. So we have a moon, but sometimes planets don't have any moons, and sometimes they could have 2 or 3 moons.
Okay.
So Earth has 1 moon. Okay, so we reviewed our key vocabulary, and we watched that video that was really helpful, and you also have your textbook. So I want you guys to work as a group, and you're going to fill out a graphic organizer. Alright, so I want you guys to fill this out together. You're going to work as a group, and I want you to fill this out. There's 5 boxes. In each one, I want you to put a descriptive statement. So we're going to use comparative language when we do this. What's comparative language?
I don't know.
It's when you're describing something and you're comparing it to something else. So an example could be smaller or even largest. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yeah, it's when you compare 2 different things, or you contrast 2 things. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay, so there's 5 boxes. In the middle has Mercury. So I want you guys to work as a group, and you guys are going to make 5 comparative statements about Mercury. All right? So you can use your textbook, or the video, or any other resources around the room, okay?
Okay.
All right, so you guys work on this.
So, I think our first one should be that Mercury is smaller than Earth because we're using the comparative word smaller. Okay. The next one that I think we should use, because Mercury is the closest planet to the sun, would be Mercury is the closest planet to the sun. What are your thoughts? Stitch, do you have another one? Ooh, that's a good one. Stitch says Mercury has the smallest orbit of all the planets.
All right, so what are you guys working on right now?
So we are writing all of our comparative sentences about Mercury.
Okay, yeah, this looks really, really good. Do you guys have any questions?
I think we are on the right track. We have Mercury is the closest planet to the sun, and we use closest as our comparative word. Mercury is smaller than Earth, and smaller would be our comparative word. And then Mercury has the shortest orbit, and we're using shortest as our comparative word.
Yeah, that's a really good job. If you want, there's one vocabulary word you haven't used yet. Can you look at there?
Is it moon?
Yeah, so try to make a statement about how many moons it has.
From what I read in the textbook, actually, I'm not sure. I don't think I ever saw it. It's in the textbook. How many moons does Mercury have?
Mercury has no moons.
So it has less moons than the Earth because we have one moon.
Yeah, that would be a great sentence. Good job.
So Mercury has less moons than the sun. Earth. Oops, I did write sun. Should have been Earth. Now, Miss Smith, I have a question.
Yes.
So we have 4 boxes here with comparative sentences. Would you be able to help us come up with a 5th? Because we're all stumped right now.
Well, not all of them have to be a comparative statement. So you can do one that's not a comparative if you run out.
Okay.
You might want to look at the history of Mercury. Here, let's look at the text. Can you find anything about the history of Mercury?
So I see here in the textbook that Mercury is named after the Roman god Mercury. This is because he was the messenger to the gods.
Yeah, so why don't you guys try to make a descriptive statement about that?
So a descriptive statement would be that Mercury was named after the Roman god Mercury.
Yeah, that would be a good one.
Okay. All right, we have all 5.
All right, let's take a look at this. So your first statement says, Mercury is smaller than Earth. What do you think is a comparative word in that statement?
Smaller.
Yeah, that's right. You guys did a really good job there. And what about Mercury is the closest planet to the sun? Is there a comparative word in there?
Closest is our comparative word.
Yeah, really good job. Now this one says, Mercury was named after the Roman god Mercury. Is there any comparative words in there?
No, there are not.
No, but that's okay, because that's a really interesting fact, and I think people would like to read about that. All right, and then this one says, Mercury has less moons than Earth. Is there a comparative word in there?
Would less be a comparative word?
Yes, that is right. That's perfect, because you're comparing Mercury to Earth. And then, Mercury has the shortest orbit around the sun. Is there a comparative word in there?
Shortest.
Yeah, this is a really good job. So I think that we should hang this in front of the class, and all the other groups can hang theirs too, and you guys can learn from each other and read everyone else's facts. Does that sound like a good idea?
Sounds like a good idea.
All right, so while everyone else is still working on theirs, I have another idea for you guys, okay? But first, let's look at the objective and see what we've done so far. So right now, we've already identified characteristics of the planets, right? Because we've done a lot of characteristics about Mercury. We're going to learn about the other planets from the other groups, right?
Yes.
And we use comparative adjectives when comparing and contrasting different planets. So you guys did a really good job, but we haven't written our letter yet. So, I have a next project for you. I think you guys are going to do a great job with this. Alright, so I'm going to give you guys each a piece of paper. Here you go. Here you go. Here you go. So what I want you to do is you're going to write a letter. Have you guys ever written a letter?
I've written a letter, yes.
Okay, so yeah, how do you start a letter?
I started by saying, "Dear," the person's name.
Yes, that's right. So we're going to write a letter, but in this letter, you're going to pretend you're from Mercury.
Ooh, so we're like aliens.
Yes, you're like an alien that lives on Mercury. So you can do whatever you want there, but it needs to make sense for living on Mercury, all right? In case you get stuck, I came up with a few things you might want to write about if you get stuck. So some ideas are, the weather is, my job is, I live in a, and for fun, I. And that's just a few ideas. You can do so much in this letter. And for this group, I want you guys to write a letter to someone who lives on Mars. So you guys are living on Mercury, and you're going to write to an alien that lives on Mars. Does that sound like a good idea?
Yes.
Yeah, this sounds really fun. So I'm really interested to see what you guys are going to come up with here. And if you forget anything or get stuck, you guys can also look at this infographic you guys made, right? You filled in all these facts, so you can use these in your letter. Okay. So you can talk about how these affect your day-to-day life living on this planet. All right, so I want you guys to get started on this. I'm going to check up on the other groups.
Dear Mr. Mars, I live on the planet Mercury. Mercury is the closest planet to the sun and is a very hot planet. My job is a farmer who makes all the crops for food for my colony.
It is really hard because there's no food here. It's so hot.
It is very hard to make food
Because
because it is very hot and is hard to find water. I live in a house that is very hot because our planet is very close to the sun. For fun, I like to go hiking on one of our many mountains. It is very fun to climb and explore our planet. from your Mercury friend, Tim.
All right. So let's look at these letters. All right. So it looks like you finished your letter. Did you have any questions?
I did not. I used your 4 sentence starters to come up with ideas of what I do on the planet.
Yeah, that's a really good idea. So this is Jill.
Hi, Jill.
All right, so Jill is from the planet Mars, and she wrote you a really cool letter. So I want you guys to switch letters, and you guys are going to read each other's letters and then talk about it, okay?
Okay.
All right, so here's her letter. So I want you guys to trade.
Here you go, Jill.
You guys are going to read each other's letters and talk about it.
Ooh, Jill, you're from the planet Mars. So, for fun on Mars, you do like to go hiking. I go hiking on Mercury, too. We have a lot of mountains on Mars, or Mercury, I'm sorry. You say you don't have many mountains, but there is one by where you live, so that's cool. Yeah, it's also very warm on our planet, too. We don't have much water. But I do see that you are farther from the sun than we are. You guys are actually farther than the planet Earth from us. Okay. So, what do you like to do? So you like to go, or what do you do? Ooh, you're a fireman. Oh, that's awesome.
All
I'm
right.
a farmer.
Looks like you guys had a really good conversation.
We did.
All right, so it sounds like a really good job. So before we're done with our lesson, let's just review the key vocabulary one more time, okay? All right, so one of the big words was solar system. Can either of you guys tell me what the solar system meant?
The solar system is made up of a sun and all things that orbit it.
Yeah, that's a good job. And what about gravity?
Gravity is the force that pulls you to the Earth.
Yeah, really, really good job. So Earth has gravity, right?
Yes.
Yeah, but some of the planets have less gravity than we do. What about orbit?
Orbit is the path a planet takes around the sun.
Yeah, good job. So I think that's the end of our class, and we're going to pick up on this next week, okay?
Okay.
You guys did a really good job. I'm proud of you. All right?